Hello, namaste, and I hope you all are doing so well. Welcome to the Purvanchal IS. Welcome to the online platform of Purvanchal IS. It is an institution which stands for the sustainable education, education for sustainable development, which allows every human being to acquire the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and the values which is necessary to shape a sustainable future. Purvanchal IS welcomes to all those students who are coming from the weaker section of the society. We will provide them good education, a qualitative education at minimum price. Purvanchal IS is set up by Dr. Ravi P. Agrari, you can see here, who is again a renowned teacher in India. And I am Kajal, and today in this lecture I am going to discuss with you the strategies and the syllabus for State Public Service Commission. But here I have taken MPPCS, Madhya Pradesh Public Service and the Commission. Students, I would like to say you that all the state PCS examination pattern is almost same. So by understanding one, you will be understand that each and every state service commission having same frame of examination, having same pattern of the syllabus, right? So let's take the look and proceed our lecture. So as I told you that I have taken MPPCS, but all the pattern, the syllabus are same. All the state PCS having same pattern in the syllabus almost. So yes, this is the lecture 1, which is an introductory part of this lecture, and I am stands with you for GS paper 4 in MPPCS for Madhya Pradesh Public Service Commission, and I will discuss prelims come mains both. So let's take the next slide. So students, as you know that all the state P6 examination and of course Union Public Service Commission having 3 phases, having 3 stages of the examination. The very first is prelims, the second is the mains examination, and the final phase of the examination known as interview. So let's understand one by one what is the process under the State Public Service Commission. And the process is almost the same, I have already told you, but let's understand if a new student is joining us. So let's understand the prelims examination pattern. The table is showing here. So the paper under the prelims examination is first gender studies, then the second is general aptitude test. Under the gender studies paper, the total number of questions will be 100 and duration will be for 2 hours, and the marks is for 200. So you have to give examination for 200 marks, and the nature of the paper will be scoring. So you have to focus more and more on that. And the second is general aptitude test, which is again 100 in the number, 2 hour for duration, 200 for marks, and but in this paper the nature of this examination will be qualifying. So this is the same pattern of any state service examination. So here I have give you the prelims examination pattern. Now in this slide, as we can see that the entire table is talking about the mains examination paper, subject, and the duration and the total marks. So the total number of the paper for the mains examination will be 6. The very first paper, which is known as Gender Studies paper number 1, which consists the history and the geography paper. The duration of this paper will be 3 hours. The total marks will be 300 and it will be bilingual. I mean, it will come to you with English and Hindi, both language. On your choice, you can write your answer. The second paper, which is known as the Gender Studies paper number 2, again with the duration of 3 hours, total marks will be 300 and bilingual. The third paper will be Gender Studies paper number 3, and the subject will be Science and Technology. Here I'm so sorry I have missed that subject under the second paper. Let's take a look. So the under the second paper, which is General Studies paper number 2, consists the subject of polity, economy and the social issues, right? The third paper consists the subject of Science and Technology. Duration is 3 hours. marks will be 300, and again it will come to you with English and Hindi language. The fourth paper, in which I am responsible to you for completing this according to this syllabus. And before syllabus completing, I would like to tell you that this paper, which is known as the Gender Studies paper number 4, and in this paper the subject is consist of psychology, philosophy and the public administration. The duration will be 3 hours, but the marks will be for 200 only, and it will come to you again in Hindi and English both. And the fifth paper, which is known as the Gender Studies paper number 5, the subject will be general Hindi and the grammar, 3 hours of the duration, and the total marks will be 200, and it is only responsible for the Hindi language. I mean, you have to answer this paper only in Hindi, because it is understandable that it is talk about general Hindi and the grammar. Now the next sixth paper, which is known as the Gender Studies paper number 6, it is for essay in Hindi only. So once again the duration will be 2 hour, marks only for 100, and it is understandable that you have to answer this question in Hindi because you have to write the essay only in Hindi language. Now next, take the another slide. So here, as I told you that in every 3 phases any State Public Service Commission examination frame up, and the last phase will be the interview, which is of 175 marks, and the total marks and the final selection for the post for the Service Commission will be 1575, which is the combination of the mains number and the interview number. So it is easy, you all know that. Let's move for the next. So here the pattern of the mains question paper, GS paper 4. As I told you that I am responsible for this paper, I am going to complete this paper for you only. So the GS paper consists of 3 subjects, as I show you under the table. The very first paper is psychology, the second paper is philosophy, and the third one is pub ad. Why it is written under the 3 subject? So let's take a look on the UPSC paper number 4. UPSC. In the UPSC mains examination paper number 4, the subject is given ethics, integrity and aptitude, which is Niti Shastra. So the MPPCS GS paper 4 consists psychology, philosophy and public administration. But guys, it is the paper of ethics only. Why? Because some part and some content of the philosophy, psychology and the public administration is directly known as ethical situation, ethical issues. Correct. Some of the social issues content is also put on the ethics paper. In UPSC you will see that some social issues are also given in that paper, in UPSC paper. But here in MPPCS it is taken the content from psychology, from philosophy and from public administration. 3 subjects is responsible for the ethics paper. Because for study the 3 subjects like philosophy, like psychology and public administration is not easy for and it is not easy to put under one paper only. It is very intense subjects. So it is not like you have to study the whole psychology, the whole philosophy and the entire public administration. You have to just study the contents, some parts of these 3 subjects, which is simply known as ethics. So do not confuse that. So let's take the look on the next slide. So here the pattern of the question paper. So the total paper is divided into 5 units, 1 to 4 units having some nature of the questions. So the very first question will be very short questions, and the number of these type of questions will be 5, and you have to answer these questions under 10 words. So guys, I would say that this is not the rigidness that you have to answer only in 10 words. You can answer and exceed the words 10 to 15. Not more than that. This will shows your capability and the ability that how much you can answer the question in effective way, in some in limited words. So this is the relevancy for asking of word limit. Understand that nothing is irrelevant under the public service commission. All thing is instructed, is given instruction, is relevant, correct? And the marks will be very short. Sorry, the marks will be 2. And the second is short question. Short question number will be 2, and you have to answer this question under the 50 words. Again, not rigidness. Here you will exceed 50 to 55. Then the marks will be 5. And the next pattern will be long question. You have to face one long question, 1. So the words will be 200. You have to answer your question under the limit of 200 words. So 200 word is, I think, more than enough for answering effectively. If you want to exceed, so you can exceed 205 to 210 only, just like that only. And the marks will be 20. And the 5th unit consists the case study. So here 2 questions from the case study will be asked, and the words limit is given 500 and the marks is 20. So students, I would like to say that what is actually case study? So case study simply is a description of an actual administrative situation involving a decision to be made or a problem to be solved, simply. So this is the 5th unit, which is of case study. You have to answer under the 500 words. So yes, as I already told you that this discussion is all about State Service Commission examination, mains examination, and I am discussing with you of syllabus, pattern of the question, and specifically I am for you for paper number 4, gender studies paper number 4, which consists the 3 subject, which is philosophy, psychology, and the public administration. But as I told you that this is ethics only, because some of the content, some of the part of these subjects are taken up in under the ethical situation, under the ethical subject. So these are not the full-fledged subject. The contents are arising from these subjects only, right? So let's take the next slide. So under the unit 1, you have to study the some philosophers, some thinkers, some social reformers from India and from abroad. I mean from Western thinkers and Indian thinkers, so both you have to study. Let's take a look on the list. Socrates, Plato, Aristo, Mahavir, Buddha, Acharya, Chavark, Guru Nanak, Kabir, Tulsidas, Rabindranath Tagore, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Savitribai Phule, Swami Dayanand, Saraswati, Vivekanand, Maharshi Arvind, and Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. So these are the pioneer of in the field of social reforms, in the field of thoughts and thinkings. Their contribution is, of course, unforgettable, and every civil servant have to learn from these thinkers and philosophers. That's why UPSC and like all state service examination have entered these thinkers and social reformers, because they are like influential people whose thinking, whose thoughts, and whose works inspires millions of the people. So when we study the entire syllabus, we will discuss one by one. And the next unit is unit number 2. So here under the unit number 2, you have to study the attitude. Under the attitude, we will take the content, of course, then the elements and the function, formation of attitude, attitudinal change, persuasive communication, and like prejudice and discrimination, stereotype orthodox in Indian context. So these topics we will study under the attitude. So let's understand what is attitude very shortly, in short word. So the attitudes is like a settled behavior as indicating opinion, Okay, attitude as the sum of the total of man's inclination and the feelings, prejudice or bias, and preconceived notions, ideas, fear, threats, and convictions about the specific topic. So this is attitude. We will see this topic entirely. We will see this topic at broader level when we understand the syllabus according to the syllabus. When we understand the syllabus at broader context, at broader manner, right? And the next is aptitude. So what is aptitude now? Before understanding this, let's take a look what will be the topic or the content under the aptitude. So aptitude and the fundamental values of the civil services: integrity, impartiality and partnership, objectivity, dedication to public service, empathy, tolerance and compassion towards the weaker section. So aptitude is the ability and the capability for understanding or differentiating between the good and the bad, between the ethical and non-ethical, between the values and between the wrongdoing. So this is a capability, mostly and simply. And the next is emotional intelligence now. So emotional intelligence concept we will see, then we will see their utilities and the application in administration and the governance. So guys, what is emotional intelligence? I would like to give you short definition kind of thing. So emotions are involved in every people do, every action they do, every decision they take, and every judgment they made, right? So emotionally intelligent people recognize this and use their thinking to manage their emotions rather than being managed by them. And you can see that in the course of some time and some decades, emotional intelligence concept has become a very important indicator of a person's knowledge, of a person's skill, and the abilities in the workplace, schools, and their in their personal life also. So overall, it is a it is a thinking, it is a management of the thoughts, it is the management of the feelings, it is the management of the emotions that every civil servant have to learn. And the next is individual differences. So this is the again every person thought is differentiate to another. We will study it. And the third unit is human needs and the motivation. So what is human needs and motivation? So human needs and the motivation, firstly understand that public servant often face difficulties. They faces like ethical dilemmas and such as whether to cut corners on quality to meet a deadline, or whether to provide opportunities for smaller contractors. The intense pressure of deadlines and the quality may not always allow you the luxury of much time for reflection, and the high stakes may tempt you to compromise your ideals, to compromise your ethics, to morals and values. Then how will you respond? No doubt, you already have to well developed ethical outlook. Nevertheless, by understanding the theories and the applications of the ethics and the morality, governance and the accountability, you may be better able to make the right choice when needs is arising. The subject of ethics, governance, and the accountability in the public administration is very much complex. It's not like easy. It's difficult, I mean to say. So we can say that the fair-minded people sometimes have a significant difference of opinion regarding what constitutes ethical behavior and how ethical decision should be made. This and so this attitude defines that ethics and the morality, and ethics and the morality under the governance and the accountability that individuals can use to consider. So that's why we needs the motivation, we needs some way of thinking, some way of having some thoughts. We need ways to solve all these kind of clumsiness, to solve all these kinds of complexity. So under the ethics and the values in the public administration, we will see the ethical elements in governance: integrity, accountability, transparency, ethical reasoning, and the moral dilemmas. Just I explained to you conciseness as a source of ethical guidance, code of conduct for civil servant, implementation of higher values in governance, etc. So let's take a look on the next slide. So here the unit 4. Under the unit 4, we will see the corruption. It is directly coming from the subject public administration. Do not confuse. So under the corruption, we will see the concept, the type and the cause of corruption, effect, approaches to minimize them, role of the society, media, family, whistleblower, United Nations stands for the corruption, measuring corruption, transparency, Lokapal and the Lokayugs. All those topics we will study under the unit 4. Now take a look on the next slide. So here it is the last unit, which is the fifth unit, and it is all about the case study. As I told you, what is the case study? It is the solving the problems based on the real life, based on the real situation. And before solving it, before facing the case studies question, you have to study the entire syllabus, the entire content of the syllabus deeply and in a intense manner. So for solving the case study, you have to just you have some strategies that how you can solve it effectively, correct? So guys, there is a process by which you can solve it effectively and in a good manner. So very first step will be quick read the case. Quickly read the case. Here give a quick read, give a quick reading. You can read only the first view and last paragraphs, correct? But you have to read the entire question paper at least twice and figure out some important elements, like there are something significant position, significant case, significant person, what appears to be the issues, and significant for the whether it is significant for the organization. All in all, you have to figure out. Then give a sincere look to exhibits and the figures that is given below. But review the case subtitles and read the case studies once again, whether you are going in a right path or whether you are distracting from that. If you are distracting, that means you have not read the question paper, read the question related to the case studies very well. So very first is understand what is asking, understand what is given, understand what is wanting in the answer, and figure out the important terminologies, important facts, figures, person, if any case is given, if any law is given. So we will discuss on that we will discuss on that when we will study this according to this syllabus, right? So here this is the entire process, entire framework of your State Public Service Commission examination pattern, especially in mains examination pattern. So I hope I able to make you understand on this matter. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope for your good health, and thank you so much once again. All the best for listening.